Attitude is everything, y'all. Attitude is everything, right? Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. Say that again. Life is 10% what happens to you. Most people think that life is 90% what happens to you. No, no, no. Life is 10% what happens to you. Why? Because we're all living this human experience. We're all going through the same stuff. We all go through loss, tragedy, hurt, sickness, joy, pain. Like we all go through the same things in life. Different varying degrees, we all go through the same things. So life is 10% really what happens to you, what your circumstances are. It's 90% your attitude towards it. It's 90% how you react to it. That's it. Again, great story there. Guy gets shot, right? Has a choice, right? Has a choice of how to react to this. Some things I take away. One of the first things he said was, "Hey, what was the first thing you thought?" He's like, "Man, I should have locked that door." If it is to be, it's up to me. We call that the entrepreneurial mindset. People that have the employee mindset, what's the first thing that, right? If they got asked that question, hey, what's the first thing you think you should have done, or like reflecting on it, it's like, man, why do people have to rob people? Or man, why the external things, right? Why did this happen? Why did I get scheduled to come into work today? Why this? My luck this. No, ownership. I should have locked the door. Man, I got shot because I kept the door open, and that was on me, right? It's a choice to just be like, all right, well, I take ownership for that. Obviously, it's not ideal to get shot, right? But like, I left the door open. And then that the scene, right in the story where he talks about he's at the hospital, the people are looking at him like he's dead, and he makes the joke. He chooses laughter, and he tells them, operate on me like I'm alive, right? He's speaking out life. He's speaking out what he wants his wishes to be. More importantly, his attitude's in the right place. He's able to joke. He's able to laugh. He's able to, right, communicate. Like his attitude is in the right place, regardless of just being shot. So this is a guy that has had good disposition. He's kept a good attitude because he's realized the attitude is a choice. Your attitude is your choice. The only two things you control in your life. Always remember this. There's only two things you can control: your actions and your attitude. That's it. You control what you do every day with your actions, how you communicate, where you go, what you do. Like you have control over that. And then you have control over your attitude, your mindset, how you think, your emotions. You have control over those two things. Outside of that, you don't have control over much of anything else. Definitely don't have control over another human being. You definitely can't control what happens when you wake up in the morning, or what the weather is going to be, or if the guy driving next to you is driving crazy. Like you can't control anything but your actions and your attitude. So if knowing that, going into life, knowing these are the only two things I can control, then we should probably be hyper focused on learning how to control our emotions, our attitude, and learning how that affects our actions. That's something we should probably learn and get really good at if we want to go off and design our ideal life, right? Again, in the text, 177 mental toughness secrets, it just confirms everything that we already know, that we're already talking about. World-class attitude leads to world-class happiness. Again, if we're seeking happiness, on Wednesday, I talked about being of good cheer, always having that positive outlook on life, thinking optimistically about the future, having energy, those things. Well, ultimately, we're getting to a place of happiness, right? That's what you're seeking. That's what you're after: fulfillment, happiness, joy, those emotions. Well, to get there, book says it starts with your attitude. It starts with how you operate in life with your attitude. World-class attitude leads to world-class happiness. Here's what it says. It says world-class performers all seem to agree that attitude is everything. Again, let's say that sentence again. World-class performers all seem to agree that attitude is everything. Our research shows some champions are more focused on attitude than others. While two people might be at the same level of success, The one more focused on attitude reports being happier. While the masses try to not have a bad attitude in their struggle to survive, champions have a positive attitude and always try to improve their mental approach to life. While average people view the idea of attitude as fluff and rah-rah motivation, the world class sees it as the cornerstone of life. They realize their attitude has an impact on everyone they meet and everything they do, as well as a monumental effect on their level of happiness and fulfillment. At some point, champions realize the self-fulfilling nature of their own mental approach to life and make a decision to talk themselves into the attitude they wish to have. Say that again. At some point, you got to realize the self-fulfilling nature of your own mental approach to life and make a decision, like they said in the video, a choice, make a decision to talk themselves into the attitude they wish to have. With this in mind, it would make sense that the higher ups in any organization have better attitudes. In our research, we found this to be true in most cases, yet our research disclosed something I believe is even more profound. The better the attitude toward life, the happier people seem to be. This proves the old idea that we create our own sense of happiness, regardless of our station or lot in life. We create our own sense of happiness, regardless of what's happening in your life, regardless of the external things, regardless of the things you deal with on a day-to-day basis. You can choose to have a good attitude toward life. It's a choice. It's a decision. It's a decision that you make to say, this is how I want to feel. This is how I want to feel. I don't associate with these feelings of depression, anxiety, fear, worry, doubt, guilt, whatever. I don't really associate with that. I don't associate with shame. Those aren't the things. I choose to feel joy, fulfillment, happiness. Like I choose the better attitude. Life is not just going to give it to you and it makes it easy every day for you to just pick a good attitude. But if you are thinking about it, if you are conscious that you have the ability to choose your attitude on a daily basis, nothing outside of you, person, circumstance, should be able to move your emotional needle very far for very long. Nothing external of you, right? Nothing outside of you. This is where we got to get to. I know this is hard for people. It's sometimes hard for me, right? But it's in general, we have to continue to get better in this area to not allow the external things to really hinder our attitude towards life. So we have to be the people that are constantly in a positive state, thinking good. What happens when your friend called you? Here's transparent moment. A lot of people stop calling me when they have problems. Some people still do because they're the ones that normally like appreciate my view, right? That's it. They normally appreciate my view. But I've come across a lot of people and don't have relationships with a lot of people now because when they would call or talk about the things that they would go through or their issues or those things, I'm very empathetic. I believe in people. I feel for people. I try to put myself in people's shoes. Don't jump to conclusions, right? I really have a listening ear. I'm really there to like help console. And I'm going to always tell you the positive side. It's that simple. I will hear it. I will listen to you. I will console you. I will, again, have tons of empathy for the situation. I could only imagine the stuff that people go through. And towards the end of that conversation or in the middle of it, I'm going to tell you the bright side. I'm going to try to shift your perspective. I'm going to try to help you see that it could always be worse and that you have a lot of things to be blessed or grateful for, that you're blessed, right? Like I'm going to help you see that side. When people are really down, some people don't want to hear that. They just don't. And I've come across a lot of those people that they are choosing to be in a bad mood. They are choosing to have a negative attitude. It's a choice because when I give them the other side, they're like, yeah, thanks. I'm going to choose this side because I'm really angry, upset, hurt, whatever it is. So eventually they stop calling me because they know what they're going to get. Again, never dismissive, always with their best interests. And I know that your attitude will lead to your happiness, not this circumstance, not this thing. Like it's nothing that we can do. Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. So it could be really, really, really bad things that happen because they happen to everyone in life. And it's still about how you react to that thing. So that's why I'm always that guy. My wife even, right, doesn't tell me all the things all the time because I'm just that person. Always going to give you the different perspective. I'm always going to shift you to a positive outlook. I'm always going to let you see the brighter side of things. I'm never going to let you wallow in the downside, like the negative emotion. And again, we can feel those things. We don't have to suppress the emotions, right? But we got a choice. That's always what I want people to see, right? We have a choice. You can choose to be happy regardless of what's happening, regardless. And that's what we got to get through our mind. If we're trying to get to happiness, we're trying to get to fulfillment, you're trying to get to the life where you can design it exactly how you want. You got to get to this level of emotional intelligence, of EQ, where you understand you have full control over your actions and your attitude. And if we can focus on, I think it said it in the video, if you can focus on every day, right, fixing or right, just making sure your attitude is in the right place, all the rest of the things in your life will fall into place. If you could just focus on your attitude, if you focus on how you're reacting to things, because when we start thinking about a certain thing, because that's where all this comes from, your thoughts about that action, about that event. Our therapist calls it the story you play in your mind, right? In our counseling sessions, we talk about the story being played in your mind. So whether you're doing that with another person and they said something and then you never communicated something, but now your thoughts are playing a story that's leading you to feelings about something that just are uncommunicated. Same thing happens just internally with us. If you happen to have a negative thought, if you happen to have an event happen and your thoughts are constantly negative about that thing and no one pulls you out, no one gives you the other perspective, you don't actively make the choice to think differently about it, it's going to lead you to actions that maybe are not in your best interest. Just because you're operating from a place of, right, the emotional side of things that you haven't necessarily been able to get a wrap on. So either way, your attitude leads to your happiness. If we can focus on that, if you can focus on that this weekend, if you can focus on that moving forward, you have a choice of your mood. You have a choice of your attitude. Once you know you control that, life opens up for you. Here's this quote here. It says, I have a one-word definition of attitude: life. Attitude is the difference maker in life. It's the treasure that lies within you. A positive attitude is the key that jumpstarts your life. Attitude dictates whether you're living life or life is living you. Attitude determines whether you are on the way or you're in the way. It's Keith Harrell that said that. Attitude is the difference maker, y'all. Life is 10% what happens to you. That's where the masses get hung up on. They get hung up on what happens to them. Ed Milet has a great saying. He says, life doesn't happen to you, life happens for you. So when you hear people start saying, this happened to me, my luck is this, right? It's happening to me. That is a form of a victim mentality where we're like, man, this is happening to me. Why me? God, why me? Why is this happening to me? No. Life is happening for you. Whatever you prayed for, whatever you've asked for, whatever life is up ahead that you're trying to get, whatever you're going through is preparing you for that. So it's not happening to you. It's happening for you to grow into the person that you need to be if you have the right attitude about it. That's the key, because it's happening to everybody. It's just some people have a different attitude, and that'll dictate the trajectory of your life. It'll dictate how far you're able to go, because Not good things are going to happen to all of us. How are you thinking about it? Action step for today says do a quick test on a scale from 1 to 7, 7 being best. How good is your attitude towards life? Be very honest with yourself. How good is your attitude toward life? Do you have a sunny disposition? Do you have optimism in your life? Are you the person that will pick people up? Are you the person that will show people the bright side? Are you the person that will shift someone's perspective to help them see that things could be a lot worse and they have a lot to be grateful for? And man, this opens up a door to other opportunities. Like, are you that person to shift their mindset? Or are we the person that's like, yeah, but I still this. Yeah, but I still this. And we go down that path. So, how's your attitude towards life? Use critical thinking and be honest. If you score less than 7, remember that attitude is a decision. Attitude is a decision. And you can upgrade your worldview at any time. Attitude is a perception created in our minds that has little or nothing to do with our circumstances, events, or other people. It's the foundation of all of our habits, actions, and behaviors. As our therapist said, it's the stories that you start playing in your mind that create the thoughts of the stories, create the attitude that you have and the disposition you have in life. So if we can change our thinking, we can change our life. That's the way this works. To change your thinking, you can change your life. And I'm going to tell you, it starts with your attitude. It starts with how you go through life. You got to have a sunny outlook. You got to have optimism. You got to be a cheerleader for people and for yourself. The world will try to bring you down. There's a lot of negativity out there. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to consume on a daily basis that is not going to put you in an optimistic outlook, to have joy, to have peace, to have happiness, to become better. That's not what the world will feed you. Social media, your family, the news, YouTube, all this stuff, it'll feed you the opposite. So we have to be diligent. We have to be intentional about heading in the right direction by paying attention to our attitude, yo. I love you guys. I want you to win. I want you to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. I'll constantly tell you that. If no one else tells you that, I'll be the one to constantly remind you, like, you deserve to win in life. But it takes work. It takes work. It takes you changing yourself. It takes you learning and growing in certain areas. It takes you identifying the things that are holding you back in your attitude, in your thinking. It takes those things. And this is the hard part, but you got to choose your hard. You got to choose your hard. It's hard to have regrets when you're 90. It's hard to say, man, I wish I would have just taken that risk, done that thing, sacrificed that thing. I wish I would have. That's a lot harder to deal with than what you go through right now, and to say, I'm just going to push myself. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better with my attitude. I'm going to get better with my personal development. I'm going to get more consistent. I'm going to be more mindful, whatever it is. Do the work now. Do the work now. Your future self is going to thank you for it. Go out there this weekend, do something that scares y'all. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Take care.